Oh, I'm fuming mad. As an openly gay man myself, this is inconceivable. I've had friends who were actual, real victims of hate crimes. I've been out since I was 16 years old. I'm 43 now, so it was a much different story, say, 20 years ago. And I'm just so frustrated because this marginalizes actual victims, like you said in the lead to this segment. And I'm so furious. Yes, he forfeited his $10,000 bond. So what? He performed that 16 hours of community service. So what? And but I'm told that he had to have likely admitted some form of responsibility in closed door manner and felt remorseful. Well, he's an actor, so I'm sure he acted that part out really well, Liz. But now he's saying, a completely different thing. That no son of his, as a son of his mother, he could never ever have lied, and that he's carried the truth on all this time, and he's still proclaiming his innocence. I find that to be insulting. I agree with Rahm Emanuel, the mayor, the superintendent of the Chicago Police Department. And I'd like to see what happens on the federal level as far as the mail fraud charges go.
Do you believe that the federal government should charge him for the
Yes,
fraudulent behavior?
I hope so, because as Mayor Rahm Emanuel said, this is a miscarriage of justice, and he clearly had at least committed mail fraud. So I hope this isn't the end of this story. And I'm just disgusted that he's still, at this point, proclaiming his innocence when they had a very tight case. I reached out to some lawyers. Basically, they said that the reason, if they had to surmise a reason, the reason would be that he's worried about federal charges at this point. And so that's why he's now still at this point proclaiming his innocence. But I'm mad.
Right, I can see that. I appreciate that. I mean, we're on the same page here. I want to give you the platform as a Democrat to have your say about this, because I think this is an issue, believe it or not, that might unite both parties. We both think that this is a miscarriage of justice. Do you believe that the records here that have suddenly been not only sealed but disappeared somehow, they've been erased, do you believe that those should be unsealed so that we the people can see whether there was some kind of deal that Jussie Smollett struck? Who exactly was involved in making this deal, whether politicians or people with political connections were involved, so that we know the details and whether corruption is the underlying factor here?
Liz, we know that people with political connections were involved, and I'm a former director on the Obama campaign, but it's very clear now that Michelle Obama's former chief of staff reached out to a Cook County prosecutor, the state's attorney, in this case, and said that they were concerned. This is back when it looked like this may have been a hate crime. So I get it on a humanitarian level. That state's attorney had to recuse herself. I'm glad that she did. But that's not how this should ever work. I can't stand when anybody tries to use those kind of connections to get something, to get their way. And I'm anxious to see if that was in fact the case.